From the Mapleview Animal Hospital studios, this is the WHTC Morning News with Gary Stevens and Peg McNichol on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to the WHTC Morning News for this Friday, January 15th. I'm Gary Stevens. Friday mornings, we travel Michigan, tell you about what's going on in our state, some of the key events, and talk about travel and tourism in general with the Vice President of Pure Michigan, Dave Lorenz. He's on the other end of our Zoom connection. Dave, good morning and welcome back to WHTC.
Good morning, Gary. Coming to you today from the beautiful little town of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. I know you know the Sioux.
So too does our news anchor as well. So the Sioux, it's close to the ancestral home. Me, I'm from the western part of the UP in terms of my dad, but the eastern part's okay too.
Yeah, I was actually in the western part, or at least this kind of southwestern part in central. I don't know what you describe as Escanaba. South Central West.
Yeah. It's kind of nice, you know, Jeff Daniels, Moonlight in Escanaba in the Moonlight. Peg also, her ears perked up when I mentioned east side of the UP.
I hear Sault Ste. Marie. That's my mom's family's. I still have family up there. So are you at the Antlers right now talking to us?
No, I wish. I'm just in a hotel, but I do have some meetings later on today. And I've actually been up here meeting with some of the tourism industry folks. And of course, I'm distancing, doing the masks and all that stuff that we all need to do. But I have to tell you, it's eerily quiet in the UP this week. A combination of, COVID, the concerns about COVID, and I think the misunderstanding, some people don't think you can travel safely. So they don't understand that if you take the protocols, you can travel safely and basically live your life practically normally with just a few adjustments. But the big one is there's very little snow here. There's snow on the ground. Don't get me wrong. You could cross country ski, for instance, but not enough for snowmobiling. So we've had all these snowmobile clubs and groups cancel different, plans. So interesting to think that next week or the week after, I forget, would have been the I-500 snowmobile race. And I just kind of wonder if it's going to be cold enough even to make that ice. So, that's one of those things.
Yeah, unfortunately, if it isn't COVID, it's the weather, and we're just getting the old one too. And even though there are some fine winter activities, Dave, as one who has seen it travel in my part in terms of observing it as an outsider, and you being an insider, this is the tough time of year for tourism overall, even without the situation we're in right now with the outbreak.
Yeah, if there was plenty of snow, then the Upper Peninsula would be super busy, in normal times. These days, nobody's super busy, and that's okay because we want to keep, crowds from forming and such. And the travel industry has been doing a great job with, making sure people are taking, serious consideration of the protocols. I can tell you because I was up at a variety of the ski resorts last weekend, and from all my observations, I was so impressed at both what the ski resorts had set up to keep everybody safe and by the people who were there. I think people are just so happy that they can travel, that they want to make sure they're doing it right, not only for their own safety, but in consideration, for the opportunity. And now, of course, we heard that restaurants will be opening up February 1st. I'm thrilled to see that myself. We need to get things back open and doing it safely. So, that's, I think, the next stage of us getting back. And as the vaccines are getting out there slower than we'd like, all this is coming together. I mean, you can see that bright light on the horizon, and we're getting there.
I made this analogy when I chatted yesterday with Linda Hart of the Holland Area Visitors Bureau with our weekly Destination Downtown segment. I used the analogy, do you get and posed it as a question, you get a sense that people are about anxious to get out and about. It's almost as if you shook a pop can or a pop bottle and it's ready to fizz all the way out. Do you get that same feeling too in the industry?
Yeah. Well, this is about the time when that normally starts anyway. We used to call it cabin fever. These days, it's, I guess, COVID fever. It's, the fact that for many of us, we've been kept in our homes and we were literally kept in for quite a while. When restaurants weren't allowed to open, that, kept us home even more. Human beings weren't meant to hibernate. So it's just natural for us to get out there, to see others. And now that we know the safety protocols that are necessary to do it safely, it's comforting to know that you can. So interesting to see, this kind of warmer weather up here. Normally you would think, well, warmer weather, more people out, but people up here love to do outdoor things in cold. So in the lower peninsula, get a 38-degree day in sunshine. Well, everybody's outside in the wintertime because that's pretty comfortable. So anyway, we'll see what Mother Nature provides, because there's one thing we know about Michigan, and that is the snow will eventually come. We just don't know when or where, but it will.
One final question, and this might be a curveball question. You might not be able to answer it this week. Might be a case of homework for next week.
Okay.
Pure Michigan Pledge. That's on the webpage. How many events and businesses have signed on to the Pure Michigan Pledge since it was started during the initial outbreak weeks back in the spring?
Yep. Just had a staff meeting yesterday and we talked about that. So it's something right around 500 businesses and individuals. It might be a little bit less because sometimes a business signs up and then their employees sign up, which is fantastic, by the way, because the point is it's kind of a declaration to yourself. It's, you've probably heard that if you make a contract with yourself for any goal, if you want to lose weight and you literally write it down, I'm going to lose weight, here's my signature. There's a psychological thing within us that we're more likely to do that thing that we're pledging. So by taking the Pure Michigan Pledge, individuals can say, yeah, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to make that pledge myself. I'm going to do these things we need to do so that we can safely travel and we can get back to normal. So it's something under 500, but we have a lot of businesses too. So we go into michigan.org. You might see a kind of a badge on a property page for a location. That's indicating that they've taken that pledge. They're making sure their employees are doing all the things you need to do, and they're expecting that of their guests as well.
We wish you well on your travels, Dave Lorenz. Have a safe trip back from the UP, and we look forward to chatting with you again next week with another edition of Travel Michigan. Dave Lorenz of Pure Michigan, your trip begins at michigan.org. Thank you, Dave.
It does. Talk to you in a week.
Thank you very much, Dave Lorenz on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.